7 great reasons to file for Social Security at age 62. If you're thinking about filing for Social Security at 62, this will show you 7 real reasons why that might actually be the smartest move. Because this decision isn't small. One wrong move could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, and once you choose, you can't undo it. I went deep into the real data, retirement case studies, and the trade-offs most people completely miss. And here's the twist. Reason number 4 alone changes how most people think about waiting until 67, and almost nobody talks about it. So, before you delay your benefits thinking it's safer, watch this first. In the U.S., the full retirement age, or FRA, is creeping up to 67 for most workers. The financial gurus will tell you that filing at 62 penalizes you with a 30% permanent cut. But for millions of Americans, that cut is a price worth paying. Today, we're looking at the 7 authentic, real-world reasons why claiming Social Security at 62 is the right move for your American dream. Reason 1. The break-even reality, the setup, a bird in the hand. Let's start with the most debated topic in all of retirement planning, the break-even point. The standard advice from the government and big banks is almost always, wait. If you wait until 67, your check will be 30% larger. And while that's true on paper, it ignores one massive variable: time. Think of it like this. If I offered you $1,400 every month starting today, or $2,000 a month, but you have to wait 5 years to see a single penny, which would you take? By filing at 62, you aren't just getting a reduced check. You are choosing to receive 60 extra payments that the person waiting until 67 simply doesn't get. That is a 5-year head start on your retirement lifestyle. The math. Doing the catch-up calculation. Now, let's do the real-world math for 2026. If you take that $1,400 at age 62, by the time you reach age 67, you've already collected $84,000 in cash. The person who waited until 67 is now starting at zero. Yes, their check is $2,000, which is $600 more than yours, but they have to use that extra $600 a month to pay themselves back for that $84,000 they missed out on. How long does that take? It takes roughly 140 months, or about 11 years and 8 months. This means you have to live until you are 78 years and 8 months old just to reach the break-even point, where the person who waited finally has more total money in the bank than you do. Every year before age 78, the person who claimed at 62 is actually winning the money game. The reality check. Longevity and quality of life. Here is where it gets real. According to the latest 2026 CDC data, the average life expectancy for a male in the U.S. is roughly 76 to 77 years old. For women, it's closer to 81. If you are a man of average health, waiting until 67 to maximize your benefit is literally a gamble that you will outlive the average American lifespan just to break even. But it's not just about when you die, it's about the quality of the years you have. Your 60s are often your go-go years, the time when you have the health and energy to actually use that money for travel, hobbies, or helping out your family. A $2,000 check at age 85 is great for paying a nursing home, but a $1,400 check at age 62 can fund the cross-country road trip you've been dreaming about for 40 years. Filing early is an authentic choice to prioritize your active years over a theoretical max benefit in your twilight years. Reason 2. Mastering the 2026 earnings test. The myth. I can't work and take Social Security. The second great reason to file for 62 is the flexibility it gives you to transition out of the workforce on your own terms. There's a huge myth in the U.S. that says, if I work, Social Security will take all my money. That is simply not true. What actually happens is called the earnings test. For 2026, the Social Security Administration allows you to earn up to $24,480 a year while collecting your full early benefit. That's over $2,000 a month in extra income. This is perfect for the person who wants to quit the high-stress corporate grind but still wants to consult, work part-time at a hardware store, or turn a hobby into a small business. You get the best of both worlds, a steady government check plus your part-time pay. The math. What happens if you go over? Now, let's say you're too successful and you earn more than that $24,480 limit. In 2026, for every $2 you earn above that threshold, the SSA will withhold $1 of your benefits. Many people see this as a penalty or a tax, but here is the authentic, real-world truth. That money isn't gone. It's more like a forced savings account. When you reach your full retirement age, 67, the SSA looks back at all the months they withheld your check because you earned too much. They then recalculate your monthly benefit upward to give you credit for those withheld months. Essentially, they undo part of the early filing reduction. So if you're worried about working a little too much at 63 or 64, don't be. You're just trading a smaller check now for a larger one later, all while having the security of that supplemental income today. The first-year secret weapon. There's also a secret weapon for those retiring mid-year in 2026. Let's say you earn $100,000 between January and June, and then you retire in July at age 62. Under the normal annual rule, you'd be way over the limit, but the SSA has a special monthly rule for your first year of retirement. As long as you earn under $2,040 per month starting in July, you get your full Social Security check for the rest of the year, regardless of how much you made before you retired. This allows you to double dip, finishing your high-earning career and starting your Social Security checks immediately. It provides a massive cash cushion for that first year of freedom, making the transition into retirement smooth and stress-free. Reason 3. Protecting your private nest egg. The concept. Social Security as an insurance policy for your 401k. The third reason to file at 62 is all about sequence of returns risk. This is a fancy financial term for a very simple, scary reality. If the market crashes right as you retire and you're forced to sell your stocks or mutual funds to pay for groceries, you're locking in those losses. You're selling low, and your portfolio might never recover. By filing at 62, you create a guaranteed floor of income. This monthly check from the government acts as a buffer, allowing you to leave your 401k or IRA untouched during a market downturn. You're letting your private investments stay in the game so they can recover and grow, rather than cannibalizing them when the market is red. Comparing growth rates. Think about the math of 2026. If you wait to take Social Security, your benefit grows by roughly 8% a year between 67 and 70. That sounds great, right? But if taking that benefit at 62 allows you to keep $30,000 inside your S&P 500 index fund, and that fund averages a 10% return, you're actually coming ahead. Furthermore, in the U.S. tax system, Social Security is often taxed more favorably than 401k withdrawals. For many Americans, only 50 to 85% of your Social Security is taxable, whereas 100% of your traditional IRA withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income. By taking the cheaper money from the SSA first, you're keeping more of your expensive money growing tax-deferred, controlling your tax brackets and RMDs. There's also a long-term strategy here regarding required minimum distributions, or RMDs. In the U.S., the government eventually forces you to take money out of your IRA once you hit age 73 or 75. If you wait until 70 to take Social Security and then your RMDs kick in a few years later, you might find yourself pushed into a much higher tax bracket, losing a huge chunk of your wealth to the IRS. By starting Social Security at 62, you can often keep your total taxable income lower and more stable over a 20-year period. It's about tax bracket management. You're using the SSA check to pay for your life now while potentially performing small Roth conversions on your other accounts. Filing at 62 isn't just about getting a check. It's a tactical move to protect your total American net worth from both market crashes and the taxman. Reason 4. The family unlock, multiplying your monthly income. The core concept. You are the key. Reason 4 is a game changer for anyone with a spouse or dependent children. In the U.S., your Social Security record doesn't just belong to you, it's a family asset. But here's the catch. Your family cannot touch a single penny of benefits based on your work record until you actually file for your own retirement. If you have a spouse who didn't work enough to qualify for their own high benefit, or if you have minor children at home, they are essentially locked out of their money as long as you are waiting for age 67 or 70. By filing at 62, you act as the key that unlocks these auxiliary benefits, potentially bringing thousands of extra dollars into your household years earlier than expected. The spousal benefit, doubling down.
Not claim this benefit until you file. So if you delay, you're not just delaying your own money, you're delaying theirs too. Now look at this strategically. If you wait until 67 to receive a larger check, let's say $3,000 a month, your household collects $0 during those 5 years. But if you file at 62 and receive around $2,100, and that allows your spouse to start receiving about $1,000 per month, your household income jumps to over $3,000 immediately. Over 60 months, that early start creates a massive financial head start, often tens of thousands of dollars that can never be recovered if you delay. This is why Social Security should never be viewed as an individual maximization problem. It's a household optimization strategy. The children's benefit, the hidden advantage. Now here's a powerful advantage that very few people talk about: benefits for your children. If you have a child under age 18 or up to 19 if they are still in high school, they are eligible to receive a monthly benefit equal to up to 50% of your Social Security amount once you file. This is especially important for what we can call late-life parents. If you're 62 and still have a teenager at home, filing now could mean several years of additional income specifically for your child. That money can be used for everyday expenses, education, or even saved for college. But if you delay until 67, that window may close completely. Your child could age out of eligibility, and those benefits are gone forever. This isn't just about timing, it's about capturing money that would otherwise never reach your family. Managing the family maximum. Of course, there is a limit to how much a family can receive. The Social Security Administration applies what's called a family maximum benefit, which typically ranges between 150% and 188% of your primary benefit amount. If multiple family members are claiming, like a spouse and children, their individual benefits may be slightly reduced to stay within that cap. However, your own benefit is never reduced. Even with this limit, the combined household income is often significantly higher than what you would receive alone by waiting. The key insight here is that multiple smaller checks can still outperform a single larger check when you look at total cash flow. The COLA compounding effect. There's another layer to this strategy, COLA, or cost of living adjustments. Once you start receiving benefits, your payments increase annually to keep up with inflation. By filing at 62, you start that compounding process earlier, not just for yourself, but for every eligible family member. Over time, those percentage increases stack up, meaning your total household income grows faster simply because you started earlier. In an environment where inflation can erode purchasing power, this early compounding effect becomes a major advantage. The big picture. Reason number 5 ultimately comes down to a shift in perspective. Most people focus on maximizing their individual monthly check, but that's only part of the equation. The real objective is maximizing total household income over time. By filing at 62, you unlock multiple streams of income, start compounding increases earlier, and capture benefits that might otherwise be lost forever. So instead of asking, how do I get the biggest check, the better question becomes, how do I get the most total money flowing into my household as early as possible? And for many families, that answer starts with pulling the trigger sooner rather than later. Reason 5. The bird in the hand strategy, hedging against policy and system risk. The core philosophy: Certainty over assumption. Reason number 5 comes down to one of the oldest and most powerful principles in finance. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. When it comes to Social Security, the bird in the hand is the money you can start receiving today at age 62. The bush is the promise of a larger check years from now, based on rules, projections, and political decisions that are not fully in your control. Most advice focuses on maximizing the future benefit, but that assumes the system will remain exactly the same and that you will live long enough and in good enough health to fully benefit from it. Filing early shifts your strategy from relying on assumptions to securing certainty. The trust fund reality, 2033 to 2034 pressure. According to current projections from Social Security trustees, the system's trust fund reserves could face depletion around 2033 to 2034. Now, this doesn't mean Social Security disappears, but it does mean that without legislative changes, benefits could be automatically reduced by roughly 20 to 25%. If you delay filing, you're essentially exposing yourself to that uncertainty for a longer period. You're betting that future lawmakers will fix the system in a way that fully protects your benefits. But by filing at 62, you begin collecting immediately. You start recovering your lifetime contributions now, rather than waiting and hoping the system remains unchanged. Even if adjustments happen later, you've already secured years of payments under the current structure. Hedging against policy changes. As the funding gap gets closer, policymakers are actively discussing potential fixes. Two of the most common proposals include increasing the retirement age further, possibly to 69 or 70, and introducing means testing. Means testing would reduce or limit benefits for individuals who have higher retirement savings, pensions, or other income sources. In simple terms, the more financially prepared you are, the less you might receive from Social Security in the future. If you delay filing, you're leaving yourself exposed to these possible rule changes. But if you file at 62, you become a current beneficiary. Historically, when major changes are made, individuals who are already receiving benefits are often grandfathered into the existing rules or protected from the most aggressive cuts. In that sense, filing early is not just a financial move, it's a defensive strategy against political risk. Capturing COLA in real time. Another key advantage is the cost of living adjustment, or COLA. Once you start receiving benefits, your payments increase annually to keep up with inflation. By filing at 62, you begin receiving these increases immediately. That means each year your actual cash flow grows in real time. If inflation rises significantly in the coming years, those early adjustments can compound into a meaningful advantage. On the other hand, if you delay benefits, those COLA increases exist only on paper until you actually file. You're relying on future calculations that could be impacted by policy changes or economic shifts. Reducing system and bureaucratic risk. There's also a